Another day, another hope, another moment with you again once more, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of us in tonight's edition, and of course the very first production of the week of still the month of June here on DBS televisions. Events have been unfolding over the weekend, but then we are graced to be among you again, healthy and strong, to discuss certain issues happening in and out of Cameroon. With us in the studio, we are having Mr. Kimbang Vitalis. He is a civil society activist. Good evening to you, Mr. Kimbang, for being there again.
Good evening, televiewers. Good evening, Vanessa. It's my pleasure being here again.
Mange Venashus, we are happy to receive you.
It's my pleasure, Vanessa, and good evening to our viewers at home.
All right, let us take a transition and we'll be right back. The first part of the show has to do with the yes or no unanswer question, and we will go straight to the point. Following the protest of Kambe youth last week, does the peace in Kambe exist because of the military presence? Mr. Kimbang, I begin with you.
No.
No. Mange Venashus?
Yes.
Yes, it exists because of the military presence. Question 2. Most elites from the crisis regions do not consider the common good of the population, especially at the wake of this crisis. Mr. Kimbang?
No.
Mange Venashus?
They do not.
They do not. So it's a no.
No.
No. And our last question for tonight: politics is the driving force of tribalism in Cameroon, especially on social media. I begin with you, Mr. Kimba Vitalis. Is it true?
No.
Is it yes or is it a no?
No.
No. Mange Velashus?
Yes, Vanessa.
Yes, it is. Let us take some few seconds and we'll be right back for the debate. In our first question, we asked whether following the protests of Kambe youth last week, does the peace in Kambe exist because of the military presence? Mr. Kimbang, you don't think that it's because of the military presence that Kambe has been relatively calm since the crisis started in the northwest region and of course the southwest region as well? But last week, some newspapers reported that there were tensions among youths in that particular locality.
Yes, Vanessa. There's no denying that there's a military barrack in Kambe, but that does not mean that is the military presence that is has guaranteed peace in Kambe.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to have come from that part of the country, and I know how the Kambe people behave. They are very welcoming people. They even welcome strangers more than they even treat strangers better than their own people.
It's good that you happen to have come from there. So what is the cause, or what was the cause of that tension? And
the tension that was there, you know, that Kambe has been blocked by separatist fighters from Kumbu. Since the youth in Kambe have not participated in fighting, so it was like some sort of punishment to block the route from leading from Bamenda to Kambe. They block it at Kumbu. So the only way to get petrol is from Nigeria, and since many youths are jobless in Kambe, they decided to take it as a business. Then the company commander, so that's what we got from the youths. The company commander too is also involved in selling fuel. So when he discovered that some of the youths are selling, he will arrest them, extort money from them, and sometimes he takes them to Bamenda and tag them as amber fighters. That is what we got from the interviews that were conducted by other medias in Kambe. So you will know that since the beginning of this crisis, Kambe has been one of the areas that we have not heard. In Kambe Central, yes, that we have not had any violence in Kambe. This is because when you look at Kambe critically, they have one of the youngest parliamentarian who identifies with the youth. And you notice that during the elections, Honorable Tamfomingala Gerard was the only parliamentarian that was able to move around his constituency freely and preach peace and talk to the youth. Even after the major national dialogue in Yaoundé, Honorable Tamfomingala Gerard was the only parliamentarian that was able to move freely in his constitution and preach peace to the youth. Now the youth have adhered to what he has been preaching, and they have decided to embrace peace. This does not mean that the incumbent man refused the fact that there is an Anglophone problem. There is an Anglophone problem quite well, but they have seen that the only way to solve this crisis is not by killing people, it's not by refusing children from going to school, it's not by fighting each other, but through dialogue. And this has been done by some industrious and dynamic elites from that area. And so, when somebody comes to that area and tries to destabilize the place through such actions, I think it is very, very bad. Because I also listened to the interview that was conducted that the brigade company commander in Kambe gave. He said Kambe borders Kumbu and Kambe borders Ngalbu and Kambe borders Nigeria, so they have to be extra vigilant. That is not the case.
That is not the case.
Yes.
So when the youths now are blocking the roads, what are they expecting? What are their expectations?
They wanted the government to hear their cry. You know that we don't have industries up there that you can work and make money. The only place that was there was in Duty Estate. That's in Daura Tea Estate. But now, due to this crisis, it is very difficult maybe for some workers to work there now. So most of them were depending on that fuel from Nigeria to make a living. And so when this man now started chasing them, it became a problem. They didn't block road because of problem. No. They didn't take up arms. They only blocked road because they wanted that the administration to hear their cry. And I'm sure the duo, because I want to appreciate him too, he has been doing a great work. The duo listened to their plight. I'm sure it was channeled to the necessary quarters in Yaoundé.
All right. So you are indirectly saying that it's not the military presence.
No, it's not the military. It's not the military presence that has brought peace to Kambe.
To Kambe.
Yes, we look even in Kambe, they have one of the most industrious and dynamic mayors, and all these people are youths. Even you go to Ndu, you have Mr. Bono. All these people are youths, and they have been talking to their fellow youths, and those fellow youths have adhered to what they have been preaching, and there is peace. So we cannot say that the peace in Kambe has brought about by the military, because in Kumbu we have military. Even we have a military base in Bafut, but Bafut is one of the worst hit areas. So we cannot attribute the peace in Kambe to the military.
To the military.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your viewpoint. Mange Feneshus, you are rather saying that it is the military that has been able to maintain peace in the Kambe Central, and but from what Mr. Kimbang is telling us tonight, that is not the case. So what makes you think that it has been the military?
Just like in every other locality in the crisis hit regions, the northwest and southwest region, the impression we get is you can only live out there so far as you are with the military. When you get these administrators, when they move about, they move with well-armed military men. You cannot see a DO, you cannot see a mayor, you cannot see, in fact, any administrator in the northwest and southwest region moving without, military men armed to the teeth. So, to me, it is because the military is there. They happen to have had the military, but like he is saying that the youths in Kambe did not, they did not vote to take arm like others did in other localities. They have decided not to participate in the secessionist agenda. That is why I'm learning from him that is the reason why they are living in peace. But then I used to look at
living in peace. Just that they don't refuse the fact that there is an Anglophone problem.
Okay.
But the fact is that they know that this Anglophone problem cannot be solved by killing people, refusing children from going to school, and burning houses. and then killing our brothers and sisters. No. So they decide to embrace peace and know that this crisis can only be solved through a dialogue.
Because I was you know, what I was bringing up was, you know, Nkambe has been noted for inter-community conflict between the cattle rearers and the Nkambe indigents, and that should have been one of those issues to that spark.
When this crisis started, it's my area, so I have to follow it very strictly. The first people were killed in Binka village. Then I followed it when an honorable time for me, Galajerat, went to Nkambe. He had to visit these areas and told the youth that, look, whether you are a Fulani man who is born and bred in a village, that village is automatically his village.
All right.
What they need to do is that they have to understand themselves and live like brothers and sisters. Mr.
Kimbang, your point is clear, but I would like to continue with Mange Venashus. Now, let us consider the area was calm, and it is rather the company commander that comes to like fuel some kind of tensions among the youth. Is that a good initiative, or blocking the roads would that not lead now to further crisis, given that it has been calm?
That is the fear we have now, because if Gambia has been the oasis in this desert of crisis that we have especially in the northwest region, then the action of the company commander is what would likely provoke, you know, there is when Gambia is in peace, we cannot say it is absolute peace. It is relative peace, because like Kimbang was saying, they are being bordered by Boy Division, Garbu, perhaps Oku, and all those places. Anything can happen, because violence can infiltrate from any of the borders, and if care is not taken, it just needs something as little as that to spark the youth, and it will turn to something else. So I think that it is high time the authorities in place understand the activities of the brigade commander, so that they should be checked. It does not suffice to say that because he is a company commander that he cannot go out of the normal out of order, because the case that we had in Garbu was the military. After the investigation from the presidency, it was the military that was indicted. So we should have to make sure, we need to take care here. If not, then this company commander, instead of bringing peace, because one would believe that they are present in a place, that is the presence of the military.
That is the presence
is to make sure that they ensure.
That is what I said. I said here already, that some of these military are making work very difficult for some of the elites, because once you go and provoke a situation, at the end the blames goes to the elite of that area. They'll say that they are mute, they're not talking. So when you are a leader in an area, you should understand with the people. That is why when you go to Nkambe, I believe the Dio is from Kambe, and that is why he has talked to his people. His people have understood him,
and they live in peace.
They live in peace. Yes.
All right.
I think if any other elite could do like what the Nkambe elite have done, I think we'll have peace in the northwest and southwest province.
All right, talking about elites contributing in bringing back peace in these two regions, the second question we are actually asking whether most elites from the crisis region that they do not consider the common good of the population, especially at the wake of this crisis, that is the coronavirus pandemic. Mange Venashus, and you think that they are not working for the good of the population?
Vanessa, when they used to refer to this word elite, I don't feel at ease when I talk about elites, because when they talk of elite, I see a kind of greedy, set of individuals who, under the auspices of power, hide their self-centeredness, pretending that they are working for people. Because when you call them elite, they are elite. What is the base that you would refer to them as elite? Because how many of these elites live in their various locality? They are elite when it comes to election. After that, they disappear. They are in Yaoundé, they are in Douala. And then, when you come to election, they resurface back in their various villages. They don't know what it means to live without electricity. They don't know what it means to live without drinking water. They don't know what it means to go through the muddy routes to get into their locality, the very localities that gave birth to them. They now live in safe havens in Douala and Yaoundé, and they forget everything about their own villages. But what they do is, when they come, deceive their brothers and sisters, they elect them into office, they disappear.
They disappear. And
After
now
5 years,
they are being abandoned to themselves.
They will come with some few exercise books, pencil and pens, and then with maybe rice and drinks, deceive the people again, re-elected, and they disappear. What I think here is the elites, if they were sincere, if these elites have to look at the situation as it is and call it their own, we will not be where we are. These elites are simply self-centered. They are simply self-centered. They want only what will please them. Because I will not understand what the elites want to do is give a positive, paint, a black event white in front of the administration to let it show that they are working. Because that is why when there is any election, anything, you find elites going back to their locality and doing everything they can do to make sure that they win.
But who should be blamed then?
We should blame these
the
elites.
Population for re-electing
We blame the elites because
whether they do not carry out their activities.
The situation at which the elites are, the population is, the elites come and brandish some kind of hope, promise them something that will never come, and once they get into their argument, they vote them, and after that they disappear. I think that the people should understand that you don't vote somebody who is. There was one text one former prime minister in Cameroon wanted to implement, and it did not work. The point was, no mayor should live out of his locality. No councillor should live out of his locality. Then parliamentarians, you were supposed to live most of the time in your constituency. But then it did not work. It did not work because you will not tell me that a mayor who works in Douala and runs a council in the village, he does not understand when they say there's no electricity, because he comes after 2 days.
Mr. Mange, the main thing is not for the elite to go and be staying in the village. If an elite understands that my people needs this and that, and he's a good elite, he will do it. You will say when this when I talk about my own area where I'm versed with. When this crisis, when this COVID-19 started, you know that Camp Council under Shame for Musa did not wait for the government to give those gifts, presidential gifts. He went ahead and prepared for the crisis. You saw that he bought pockets and he bought savon, and he made sure that every place were equipped. Even Honorable Ngala Gerard, you saw of recent, he was in GBH and Cambe, in most of the schools around. He was sharing them preventive materials like savon, soap, face mask, and the rest. So it doesn't mean that the elite must stay in that area to know the problem of those areas. Honorable Ngalajara lives in Douala, but he has been able to satisfy the needs of most of the people who are back in the village. That does not mean that he must be there, he must go and reside there. No. An elite who loves his people, no matter where he is, will still help his people. Even if he's in America, he will still help his people. The thing is that what we are saying is actually very true, but I throw the blames on the population, because you not come and deceive us first term, second term in office, third term in office, then we still vote you in office. That means that we enjoy the deceit that you are giving to us.
They enjoy being deceived.
They enjoy being deceived. Yes. So as if you deceive us first term, second term in office, we should kick you out. Not that we continue to vote you and continue complaining that we are being deceived.
All right.
Let's not go when we glide over this topic. It will be as if we are not facing the reality on the ground. Most of these elites, they are well placed. When we talk about
what
rigging,
do you mean by well placed?
Well placed in terms of in front of the authorities.
Okay.
The elite will walk right up into the DO's office where a local population, local you and I will not go. They will enter the DO's office, and before you know, things are done to their favor. They know where to go to, which office to get to in Yaoundé. Before you know things, when we talk of rigging elections, when we talk of manipulating in our villages, in our localities, who are those who are behind? If these elites, they are the people who
help them in the rigging. The youths of
because
those
when
areas.
They come and brandish 1,000 francs,
then
5,000.
You say you are conscious of 1,000 francs. You should not blame the elites.
That is the problem. What they have done is they have simply constructed a framework in which 1,000 francs, you value 1,000 francs, 2,000 francs. And when they come and brandish it in front of you,
probably that is why I was asking you that who should be blamed if today you commit the same acts, the next elections I elect you again, I complain, you do the same thing. But then that is up for the localities, for the people there to decide who should be their leader, and they should lead by example. That takes us to the third question. Politics is a driving force of tribalism in Cameroon, especially on social media. And Mr. Kimbang, you don't think that it is one of the reasons why tribalism on the social media, bullying each other about their tribe, has been as a result of politics in Cameroon?
No, Vanessa, I don't think so.
Their political ideologies?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so. When you go to social media, what you will discover that politics is a game, and there's no party where you go and you find only people of a particular region. For example, you see the SDF, the MRC, the CBD, and the rest. People come from different areas and they form that party. So those who make noise on Facebook, they are not even part of those who constitute that party. So they are just detractors. And when you go to Facebook, you discover that most of the accounts, those accounts that propagate such tribalistic tendencies, yes, there are fake accounts that cannot be traced. So I don't think that
social
yes.
politics is a fueling
Yes,
tribalism
yes.
on social media.
Yes.
And what of these our government officials that in their own words, in their statements, they use tribalistic words or discriminatory words among the regions?
You know that man is a social animal, and man cannot be perfect. And so tribalism or whatsoever, you cannot distinguish. For example, somebody like me, I can say I'm a child of two worlds. So in Cameroon, what binds us together is not politics, but it's our
cultural diversity.
Cultural diversity. And you discover that most of us, we don't just get married from the same tribe. We have picked from different tribes. So when it comes to politics, I think on social media, the noise that people make on social media, I don't think it is because of politics. It might be because of personal interests. Maybe somebody wanted something and did not get it. Then he will now come to social media to cry, and no, I did not get it because I am from this so-and-so tribe.
Political party.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much for your viewpoint. Mange Venashus, you rather think that politics has been one of that strong driving force promoting tribalism on social media?
Vanessa, it is only after the 2018 presidential election that some of us, we became used to terms like Sardina, Tontina in Cameroon. When we talk of tribalism, from its simple definition, it is giving undue favors to someone because he is from your tribe, not because he merits it. I favor him because he is my tribesman, not because he merits it. And I drop you because you are not from my tribe, even if you merit that position. And when we look at the political landscape in Cameroon, it is not something to ask for. Then when we look at the number of ministers that we have in this country, when we look at the number of governors that we have in this country, when we look at the number of directors that we have in this country, is it not political? Do we need to say that it is that this hate speech is not coming on social media because of these political positions that we have? Why is it that only a particular tribe is able to lead? Is it the matter of education? If it is matter of education, is it a particular tribe that goes to school in Cameroon? When it comes to appointment, why must we appoint from a particular tribe more than others? And that is why when it comes to social media, everybody feels, because like Imbang says, all of us belong to Cameroon. All of us are Cameroonians. But there are some tribes in Cameroon that believe they are more Cameroonians than us, than others. And when they start expressing their, they want to showcase what they benefit from being Cameroonian, those who do not have that privileged position, they feel cheated, they feel, isolated, they feel neglected. And that is why you have this hate speech, you have Tontina, Sardina coming up over and over. Cameroon belongs to every Cameroonian. Just like a Nordis can be a president, Somebody from the south can be a president. Somebody from the northwest, somebody from the east can be a president in Cameroon. It is not as if the presidency of Cameroon is supposed to move according to a particular line. No. But the problem is when we talk of politics and tribalism, I don't see how you can dissociate them, because we read those tribalistic tendencies through political acts, through political manifestations that we see when we only see some particular tribes being brought to the spotlight, whereas we forget about others. Vanessa, there are tribes in this country that do not even have a director, whereas there are tribes in this country that have more than 10, 15 ministers. There are tribes that do not even have a minister. I know the president of Cameroon said some time ago that Cameroon do not have ministries that can accommodate every position, every tribes. But Cameroonian ministries are not only fit for one tribe to have 2, 3, 4, whereas there are other tribes, many tribes, that do not even have one. So we should, if there are 16 ministries in Cameroon, we should take, each tribe should have one minister, because you cannot tell me that each tribe, that all these tribes in Cameroon, that you cannot have somebody who is qualified to be a minister. So I don't see why tribe A can have 2, 3, 4, 5 ministers, when meanwhile tribe E, C, D, and the others, they don't even have one. So there is nothing that you can tell me that these are tribalistic tendencies that we see them manifesting through political positioning, through appointment, through, you know, we have them reflecting itself in our daily life.
All right, so what can you say about this in your concluding word? Simply
that Cameroon belongs to everybody. If we have to do away with tribalism, with hate speech, especially on social media in Cameroon, we need to reorient our political game in Cameroon. Yes, we have to let it be, like you said, politics is a game. If well played, it is good. But then once we bring in this kind of tribalistic tendencies in politics, it will only fuel tribalism, because other tribes, they see what is happening and they will not simply cross their hands and see you manipulating with the common good. They will not see you manipulating with the common good, because Cameroon belongs to every Cameroonian. It does not belong to a particular tribe.
It doesn't belong to a particular tribe. And to you, Mr. Kimban, concerning the youth of Cambe, what could you tell them in the face of this crisis?
No, I will tell them that they should continue to be God-fearing, continue to respect the laws of the land, they continue to live in peace, and know that peace is very, very expensive.
It's expensive.
It is easy to start a war, but it is very, very difficult to stop a war.
Thank you.
So I appreciate them.
I love that your conclusion word. It is easy to start a war, but to end it is very difficult, and the consequences are very, very devastating. Ladies and gentlemen, with me here in the studio, thank you very much for being part of us on the Viewpoint on DBS television. Tomorrow we will be back again, subsequently with other important topics to discuss. So stay tuned.